What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. Let's get into NXT from December the 10th, 2024. A very good show for the most part. I like what they're doing. So, we kicked the show off with Julia. She came out, she talked about how she was the women's Iron Survivor. She said she's going to beat Roxanne Perez at New Year's Eve in LA. And she says that the Beautiful Madness will become the new NXT Women's Champion. So Julia spoke pretty decent English. So she did okay in that regard. So Roxanne Perez came out. She puts over Julia and how dominant she is. But she's still going to win and be champion and reign over her division come New Year's Eve. She said, new town and new result. So then, she said to Julia that if you even make it to New Year's Eve. So we immediately go to the Titantron to where Stephanie Vaquer is laid out and attacked. So another whodunit, but we figured out whodunit very quickly because it was Cora Jade. And Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, they started beating the crap out of Julia. So Kalani Jordan came down to make the save, and that set up for the main event, which was a tag match. So that's fine there, I guess. This is okay. But I don't understand why NXT continues to still push the women. They've been doing that for the past month and a half, almost 2 months now. I don't understand why. I mean, I'm fine with it, but at the same time, you need to focus on your men's division. That is your heart and soul. That's your heart and soul. The women are your bread and butter, basically. But it is what it is. But I'm excited for New Year's Eve. I really am. Moving on. So Tony D'Angelo is backstage. So Ethan Page is distraught for not winning the Iron Survivor on this past Saturday. So Tony D tells Ethan Page to get over his loss at NXT Deadline. Page doesn't know how to get back to the NXT title picture. Believe it or not, Tony D has a soft spot for Ethan Page. Pause. How about they have an NXT North American Championship match tonight? So Page is like, nah. He runs down his resume and says that how he ran this brand. He feels that the North American Championship is a step down for him. The Don decides to extend an offer to the rest of the roster. So Ethan Page then changes his mind when he sees all the tag team guys wanting a shot. And then Ethan Page says if he can't beat the Don, then his career is practically over. Ethan Page needs this opportunity. The Don tells Ethan Page that he'll see him out there. Okay, that's fine. Really cool stuff there. In my humble opinion, this should have been the main event. I don't know why it was not, but such is life. But they still insist on pushing the women, which I'm fine with, but damn, this really should have been the main event of the show. Moving on. Lexis King, he did some soul searching this weekend. He wants another crack at the Heritage Cup Championship. Charlie Dempsey tells Lexis King that he'll think about it. Charlie Dempsey, he then is extremely proud of the No Card Catch crew and their respective performances at Deadline. No Card Catch crew, they had a brief verbal reaction with OTM and sexy ass Jada Parker. So that was something there. Really good shit there. And Jada Parker threatened to knock out Ren Sinclair. So that was funny. Nice. Good stuff. First match of the night, Jevon Evans defeats Wes Lee in a really good back and forth Spot Fest match. They didn't really have a Spot Fest match, but it was pretty good. So apparently, Jevon Evans kicked out of Wes Lee's finish, which is the cardiac kick, and Jevon Evans kicked out, which to me is crazy. But Jevon got the win via the hold it in the road for the 1-2-3. So that's how he won. This is fine. It seems like Wes Lee might get called up. That could happen. I think Wes Lee's ready to be called up. I think he would be a serviceable IC champion or US champion. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But he's definitely being fast-tracked to be caught up on the main roster. And I could see Jevon Evans being, sometime next year, I could see him being the new North American champion. I really could. So I think that's what they're gonna end up doing with him. They're gonna end up, giving him a shot at that title. I guarantee you guys, by the first quarter, before the first quarter of 2025, Jevon Evans will be champion. Guaranteed. I'm serious. Because they are, pushing him pretty hard, though. They are. But I do think that Wes Lee would be really good on the main roster as well. Moving on. To Axiom, he wanted to apologize to Nathan Frazier for doubting him at NXT deadline. Nathan Frazier says that he owes Axiom a big one. Axiom wanted Nathan Frazier to win the Iron Survivor challenge really bad. He would have done anything for his tag team partner. And then Nathan Frazier tells Axiom that he's got to make this right. Okay. Cool stuff there. I guess they're still doing the breakup. All right. Cool shit. Moving on, we get a Josh Briggs and Inamura vignette. Talking about how they trained in Japan and how they're focused on running the NXT tag division. What the hell? No. That shit's not going to happen at all. Josh Briggs is okay, but nah. So, who cares about any of this? Moving on. So, Klein Jordan tells Sarah Schreiber that Stephanie Vacker will be just fine. She's getting tired of Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade walking around like they run NXT. They can't even run an eliminated stand in a desert, even if they tried. Klein Jordan says she'll put her resume up against Cora Jade's any day of the week. Which doesn't happen. So that was funny there. Moving on. So the Metaphor, which is Jakara Jackson and Last Legend, they poke fun at Zarya and Saruka for losing the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Last Legend says she's not buying Zarya's hype. Dakara Jackson says it's going... my bad. Dakara Jackson says that it's giving delusional... it's getting delusional that Saruka was standing up for a girl who wanted to rip her head off 72 hours ago. So apparently this sets up for a tag match next week. I like this. This is interesting. An interesting way to use Zarya here. I'm really wanting them to bring back the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. I really do want them to return. If they're going to put tag teams together and stuff like that, those tag teams need to have something to fight for. Moving on. Hank and Tank, they defeat Tyson and Tyreek. Who cares? And then post-match, it was Tyreek who got mad. And it seems like they're probably going to turn those guys heel. If NXT 2.0, my bad, if NXT Level Up was still a thing and it still existed, this would definitely be a match that's tailor-made for that show, and this was it. So, it is what it is. Do I care about these guys? The answer is no. I don't care about them. Moving on. So, Oba Femi, he comes out, and we get a really good segment involving him, Trick Williams, and Eddy Thorpe. So, Oba Femi says that the ruler is back. He said that he's the Iron Survivor. He says in 4 weeks he's going to be at New Year's Evil in L.A. He's going to reclaim his rightful position on the throne as the ruler of NXT. He says that he and Trick Williams haven't officially crossed paths yet, but they've been very dominant in their individual divisions. And he wants to find out who the real top guy is. So, Eddy Thorpe then comes out. He says that him and his people have been through enough. He knows that it was Oba Femi that attacked him last week. The biggest chance of his career is gone. And then he knew that Oba Femi took a spot in the on Survivor, so where's the justice in that? He said that he's not going to stand for this. So Oba Femi tells him to shut his mouth. He says that you're making some very bold accusations. And Oba Femi says, did you see him attack him? Eddy Thorpe says that he got attacked from behind. He's never been hit so hard with so much power and force. There's only one person in the locker room with that kind of strength, and he's looking right at him. So Oba then says thank you for the compliments, and then he calls out Trick Williams. So Trick comes out to a really good reaction. He says that the highs and lows, he felt that. He understands what it's like to lose a title and to try to get it back and everything. He puts over NXT New Year's Evil. He says to him and Oba haven't really talked. He said he's glad that he's here because the legacy of a title run isn't defined about how long you hold the title. It's defined by who you defeat while carrying it, which was great. So Oba then retorts all this by saying that the only reason that why Trick's been champion is because no one's ever hit him with some truth. He says main reason is he's the number one guy right now is because he let him be the number one guy. As a matter of fact, the only reason there's even a book that Trick is because he allowed it. And he's always known this. And whenever he was ready, he would take that title easily. And at New Year's Eve, it seems like they have a date with Destiny. Oba Femi versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. He promises and he swears this is the beginning of 2025 will be the end of Trick's era. So Oba Femi leaves. I love this. This was great. So Eddy Thorpe, he starts to belittle Trick, saying that why don't you stand up for him and about the injustices that happened to him. He thought him of all people would be different. He felt that he would be a man of the people. He said that Trick wouldn't last 2 weeks in the Japanese dojos that he came up in. He says that he made fun of him by calling him how he went from the Eagles training camp. He went to a WWE tryouts. And then Trick told him to shut his ass up. He says that he's sick of him. He's sick of all the doubters. And next week, he's going to show him why he is the man. And he mentioned, beating the Mad Dragon, a.k.a. Ilya. So, and then Trick Williams sucker punched him. So it's going to be Eddy Thorpe versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship next week. And I like it. It's really cool. So really good shit there. Excellent stuff. Moving on. So Izzy Dame, she's backstage during Sean Spears' segment. Hold on, no, my bad. So Izzy Dame, she says that she has unfinished business with Gigi Dolan. So Sean Spears, Brooks Jensen, and Nico, they show up. They prevent Izzy from attacking Gigi Dolan. Izzy says she doesn't need Sean Spears' approval because she knows how impressive she truly is. And this is okay. I don't really like this. There was also some strife between Fallon Henley and JC James to try to figure out, why Gigi is back in NXT. JC thinks it's because of her history with Toxic Attraction, and Fallon Henley thinks it's because that Gigi has her eyes on becoming the new North American Women's Champion. So that's cool there. Moving on. So, Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, they defeat... No, my bad. The Fatal Influence, they defeat Gigi and Tatum Paxley. So that's cool there. Post-match, Fatal Attraction, they beat... My bad, Fatal Influence, they beat down Fallon Henley and JC Jane. No, my bad. Shit. I'm sorry. Fatal Influence, they beat down Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan. And then Shotzi makes a save. She takes him out. She does a dive. She gets a really good reaction. I'm glad that Shotzi's back. So she's been up and down in NXT for the last 4 years. I like Shotzi. This is great. So we should get some cool stuff out of this. Hopefully we get Fallon Henley and Shotzi at some point for the North American Championship. I think that'd be pretty cool. Moving on. So Axiom told Nathan Frazier that he got himself a match with Oba Femi next week. Nathan Frazier feels bad about it. He went to Ava, and they're supposed to defend their NXT Tag Team Championships next week. And Axiom, it's his turn to have 2 matches in the same night. So he's pulling double duty. Okay, that's cool there. I like that. Interesting stuff. Moving on, Tony D'Angelo defeats Ethan Page to retain the NXT North American Championship. All right. Moving right along. So, Lexus King, he's backstage thanking former NFL quarterback Ryan Lee for giving him some advice. Charlie Dempsey tells Lexus King that he'll have his Heritage Cup Championship match in 2 weeks, but he'll have to attend a special workout next week. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Moving on, Ethan Page refuses to answer any questions at the moment. He's just lost in his way. He just lost his way. He doesn't believe that he's all ego anymore. He has no clue on how to get back to the NXT title picture. He's lost and truly ashamed. This is interesting. It seems like they could put him with Shawn Spears, which would be a fucking disaster, but it could work, possibly. There could be a rumor that WWE might bring in Josh Alexander, but his contract's not up with TNA until February. So, I don't know. It could be to where Ethan Page is on his way out, just like Wes Lee. I feel that if those two guys are as good as gone when the time comes. But we'll have to wait and see. Moving on. Main event of the evening. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, they defeat Julia and Kalani Jordan. So Cora Jade, she got the win over Kalani Jordan, which was cool. I like that. So it seems like they're going to go to a little mini feud between the two of them. So that should be interesting. And post-match, Stephanie Vacker showed back up. And she chased down Cora Jade, beat her up in the crowd and stuff. She got back in the ring and she broke her little kendo stick in half. That was pretty cool. Good shit. So, what closed the show was we go back to Ava's office. So Eddy, he signed the contract for the NXT title match next week. He informed Ava that he attacked himself last week, so that way he didn't have to compete in the Iron Survivor Challenge in order to get an NXT title shot. And then Eddy tells Ava that he'll see her in Lowell next week, Lowell, Massachusetts. So that's interesting there. I like that. I'm actually digging this heel turn of Eddy Thorpe. And they should be able to continue this when Eddy Thorpe inevitably loses to Trick Williams next week. So that should be interesting to see how that plays out. Overall, this was a good show. I really enjoyed the Eddy Thorpe stuff. Trick Williams and Oba Femi, sign me up for that. I can't wait. That's going to be fun. I got a feeling that Trick will probably retain via probably like a roll-up at New Year's Evil, and he'll probably end up losing the title to Oba officially at Stand and Deliver. The same goes to Roxanne Perez and Julia. I don't see Roxanne Perez just losing on a TV special. That, to me, wouldn't make any sense. What they're doing with the women's NXT North American Championship, that storyline's pretty cool. That's interesting there. They're not doing anything with the men's North American Championship. I don't like that at all, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. I could also see Tony D getting caught up as well, too. That might happen. I'm interested in seeing who they're going to bring back down to NXT, though. So they should bring, down some guys that aren't doing anything. I also think that Jessie Jane is ready to be called up. Same with Fallon Henley, whenever she drops that title. So, yeah. But all in all, NXT was solid for the most part. Really good stuff. What did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.